The unsupported man is not destroyed by lack of help. He is destroyed by the fantasy that help is coming. He thinks one day someone powerful will notice him. Someone will see the talent. Someone will recognize the potential. Someone will open the door and finally give him the chance he deserved. But Machiavelli would call this weakness wearing the mask of hope. Powerful people do not move toward hidden potential. They move toward proof. They move toward usefulness. They move toward momentum, status, incentive, and advantage. While you are waiting to be noticed, another man is becoming impossible to ignore. While you are hoping to be chosen, another man is building evidence. While you are resenting the closed door, another man is learning how to make the door irrelevant. This is the first truth. No one is coming to open the door for you. And once you stop hating that truth, it becomes the beginning of power. Not because the world is uniquely cruel to you. Not because everyone is against you. Not because your life is cursed. But because people are busy protecting their own position, chasing their own interest, solving their own problems, and defending their own survival. This is where most men lose their clarity. They take neglect personally. They think the world has made a special decision to ignore them. But the world is not ignoring you with emotion. The world is ignoring you because you have not yet created enough reason to be taken seriously. That is not an insult. It is a map. Machiavelli studied men as they are, not as they pretend to be. He understood ambition. He understood fear. He understood self-interest. He understood that loyalty is fragile, gratitude is temporary, and attention follows advantage. He did not build his thinking on the hope that men are naturally generous, loyal, and eager to lift the unknown. He studied reality. And reality says this: people open doors when there is a reason. They make introductions when it increases their status, protects their interest, strengthens their circle, or gives them access to value. They invest in what appears likely to rise. They attach themselves to momentum. This is not evil. This is nature. And the man who refuses to understand nature becomes food for it. So stop asking, "Why has nobody helped me?" That question makes you weaker. Start asking, "Why would helping me benefit them?" That question makes you strategic. Because the world is not moved by your silent suffering. The world is moved by incentives. It does not reward the man who waited with potential in his chest. It rewards the man who turned potential into evidence. The unsupported man usually begins with a wound. He looks around and sees other men with advantages. One man has a father who knows people. Another has friends in the industry. Another has a mentor. Another has money. Another has a community. Another has a last name that opens rooms before he speaks. And the unsupported man says, of course they are ahead. Someone opened the door for them. Maybe he is right. But being right does not make him powerful. This is a truth most men are too emotional to accept. Resentment is often accurate and still useless. You can be completely correct about the unfairness of your starting point and still remain exactly where you are. You can prove that someone else had more help. You can prove that another man had a better network. You can prove that the game was not equal. And after all of that, your life may still look the same. Because proof of unfairness is not the same as power. This is where the rescue illusion begins. It has 5 stages: waiting, resenting, comparing, excusing, decaying. Understand these 5 stages, and you will recognize the trap before it eats the next decade of your life. The first stage is waiting. Waiting is seductive because it does not look weak from the outside. A man who waits can still appear responsible. He reads. He watches videos. He thinks about business. He studies successful people. He talks about plans. He says he is not ready yet. He says he needs more information. He says he needs the right connection. He says he needs the right time. But beneath all that language, something is rotting. He is outsourcing the beginning of his life to conditions he does not control. The right timing belongs to fortune. The right introduction belongs to another man. The right mood belongs to the market. The right opportunity belongs to chance. If your future depends on these things, you are not strategic. You are dependent. And dependency always asks for payment later. Waiting weakens the will because it trains you to experience life as something that happens to you. You begin to watch instead of move. You observe other men building. You analyze. You criticize. You call it patience. But patience without construction is not wisdom. It is decay in slow motion. Real patience builds. Fake patience delays. Real patience sharpens a skill. Fake patience gathers excuses. Real patience produces evidence. Fake patience produces evidence. Fake patience protects the ego from exposure. So ask yourself honestly, are you waiting because the strategy requires time? Or are you waiting because beginning would force reality to judge you? That question will reveal more about your future than any motivational speech ever could. This is the man who has watched 300 business videos and still has no offer. This is the man with 100 saved posts and 0 published work. This is the man who says he is preparing, but what he really means is that he is afraid to be measured. The market is brutal because it removes fantasy. You can tell yourself you are talented for years. You can imagine the version of yourself who wins. You can protect the identity of the hidden genius. But once you publish, sell, compete, pitch, build, or expose your work to judgment, the fantasy meets reality. That is why waiting feels safe. It lets you believe your failure is only delayed success. It lets you believe the missing ingredient is opportunity, not construction. It lets you keep your self-image intact while your life remains unchanged. And that is why the rescue illusion is so dangerous. It does not feel like weakness. It feels like hope. But it is a hope that makes you passive. And passive men do not rise. They are carried, used, forgotten, or replaced. The second stage is resenting. A man cannot wait too long without becoming bitter. At first, he simply feels overlooked. Then he starts feeling cheated. Then he starts looking at every successful man as proof that the game is rigged against him. He notices the rich kid, the connected kid, the loud man with average skill but better access, the influencer who got lucky, the mediocre competitor who somehow gets clients. And his mind begins to poison itself. They only won because they knew someone. They are not even that good. If I had their network, I would be ahead too. Maybe some of that is true. But again, truth without power is just commentary. Resentment gives you the pleasure of moral superiority while keeping you strategically useless. You get to feel smarter than the people winning. You get to feel purer than the people playing the game. You get to feel like the hidden genius wronged by an unfair world. But what do you gain? Nothing. No skill, no proof, no offer, no visibility, no leverage. Machiavelli would not ask whether your resentment is justified. He would ask whether it increases your power. If not, it is waste. And unsupported men cannot afford waste. This is the brutal difference between a wounded man and a strategic man. The wounded man wants the world to confess that it treated him unfairly. The strategic man wants to know what can be built from the unfairness. One wants validation. The other wants leverage. If you are serious about becoming the second kind of man, I created the Patreon collection called Succeed with Zero Support. It contains more than 30 uncensored video lessons with a clear path for men who have no support, no network, and no one opening doors for them. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Use it if you are done waiting and want a system. The third stage is comparing. Comparison begins as observation. Then it becomes obsession. You look at men your age who are already earning more. You look at people who started after you and passed you. You look at strangers online showing cars, apartments, businesses, bodies, status and freedom. And every image becomes a private humiliation, not because they have something, but because their success feels like an accusation against your delay. You start measuring your hidden potential against their visible results. And that is a rigged game. Your imagined future self always feels more impressive than their current reality. So you tell yourself, I could do that. Maybe you could, but you did not. And in the kingdom of power, what you could do is irrelevant until it becomes dumb. The market does not reward imaginary superiority. It rewards executed value. This is where many men become prisoners of potential. They fall in love with the idea of what they might become because that version has never been tested. That version has never been rejected. That version has never been ignored by the market. That version has never had to face silence after publishing work. So they protect the imagined self by delaying the real self. They would rather believe they are undiscovered than discover they are underdeveloped. That is the hidden bargain of comparison. You get to feel superior without producing anything. But power does not care about what exists in your head. Power cares about what can be seen, measured, trusted, used, exchanged, and repeated. Instead of building your skill, you study another man's advantage. Instead of creating proof, you analyze his unfair head start. Instead of publishing, you consume. Instead of selling, you watch others sell. Eventually, your mind becomes a courtroom where you are constantly defending why you are not further ahead. But life is not a courtroom. It is a battlefield of outcomes. Nobody cares how strong your argument is if your life remains weak. The fourth stage is excusing. This is where the rescue illusion becomes a prison. The man now has a full explanation for his stagnation. No network, no support, no money, no mentor, no time, no confidence, no luck, no audience. No one believed in him, and because each excuse contains some truth, he mistakes explanation for strategy. Listen carefully. An excuse does not have to be false to be dangerous. Some excuses are completely real. You may genuinely have no support. You may genuinely have no network. You may genuinely have less money. You may genuinely have started behind. You may genuinely have been ignored by people who should have helped you. But if the truth becomes the reason you stop moving, the truth has become a chain. This is where weak men and strategic men separate. The weak mind says, "This is why I cannot move." The strategic mind says, "This is the condition under which I must move." Same reality. Different operating system. The strategic man does not deny obstacles. He converts them into design constraints. No network? Then build public proof. No mentor? Then reverse engineer the best. No audience? Then publish valuable analysis consistently. No clients? Then create speculative work. No confidence? Then create evidence. No money? Then choose a skill with low startup cost and high market demand. No one opens the door? Then build so much leverage that the door becomes irrelevant. This is what most men never understand. Your disadvantages are not imaginary. They are real. But they are not instructions to quit. They are instructions for design. If you have no connections, your work must be visible. If you have no reputation, your proof must be sharp. If you have no inherited trust, your offer must be clear. If you have no mentor, your learning system must be ruthless. If nobody is coming to guide you, then your standards must become the guide. This is not motivational language. This is survival logic. Machiavelli understood that power gained through others is unstable. A man who depends entirely on another man's favor is never truly safe. Favor can be withdrawn, attention can shift, loyalty can break, access can disappear. So the unsupported man must build a base that does not collapse when another person stops caring. That base is proof. That base is usefulness. That base is reputation. That base is a system. The fifth stage is decaying. This is the final cost of waiting for rescue. It does not happen dramatically. There is no cinematic collapse. No thunder. No public failure. No single moment where everything breaks. Just less disciplined, less sharp, less willing to risk humiliation, less willing to expose your work, less willing to compete, less willing to be seen trying. And eventually you become attached to the identity of the man who could have been. This is one of the saddest identities a man can carry. The man who could have been great if someone helped him. The man who could have won if he had the right people. The man who could have built something if the world had been more fair. That identity is comfortable because it protects you from the harshest possibility. That maybe the door did not open because you never built anything strong enough to justify entry. That sentence is not meant to insult you. It is meant to free you. Because if the problem is destiny, you are trapped. But if the problem is construction, then there is a path. If the problem is not that life permanently rejected you, but that you have not yet created enough leverage, then the answer is no longer self-pity. The answer is design. The path is not rescue. The path is system. A system is how unsupported men replace luck. A system is how you stop depending on emotion. A system is how you make progress without applause. A system is how you build power when nobody is watching. This is the shift you must make. From rescue to system. From waiting to construction. From resentment to leverage. From comparison to execution. From excuses to protocols. From decay to proof. So what does that system look like? It begins with one question. What can I build that does not require permission? Not who can help me. Not who can introduce me. Not who will believe in me. What can I build without permission? A skill does not require permission. You can practice. A teardown does not require permission. You can analyze. A case study does not require permission. You can document. A public post does not require permission. You can publish. A portfolio does not require permission. You can assemble proof. A code message does not require permission. You can send value. A better offer does not require permission. You can sharpen your positioning. Most men are not trapped by the absence of opportunity. They are trapped by the refusal to build what requires no opportunity. You do not need permission to become more useful. You do not need permission to become clearer. You do not need permission to become visible. You do not need permission to create evidence. You do not need permission to make yourself easier to trust. This is where power starts. Not in the room, not in the introduction, not in the handshake, in the work nobody assigned to you. That is the sacred ground of the unsupported man. Unassigned work. The work you do before anyone believes in you. The work you do before there is money. Before there is applause. Before there is recognition. Before there is a network. This is the work that separates men who are serious from men who are merely wounded. Wounded men talk about what they deserve. Serious men build what they can prove. Here is the system. For 90 days, abandon the fantasy of rescue. Do not look for someone to save you. Do not beg for mentorship. Do not obsess over networking. Do not spend your days watching other men live. Choose one valuable skill. One. Not because it is your passion, because it can create measurable value. Writing that sells, editing that retains attention, design that converts, sales that closes, automation that saves time, strategy that increases revenue. You are not choosing an identity, you are choosing a tool. Then choose one market, not everyone. A specific market with a painful problem. Creators, coaches, founders, local businesses, agencies, e-commerce brands, consultants. You need specificity because vague men do not get chosen. Then create proof twice a week. If you have no client, create speculative proof. Find a weak example in the market. Diagnose it. Improve it. Explain what changed. Publish the breakdown. Do it again, and again, and again, and again. Not for applause, for evidence. At the same time, build a simple visibility machine. One platform, 3 formats, case studies, teardowns, playbooks, that is all. Do not complicate it. Complexity is often fear wearing a suit. Publish consistently. Let the market see your mind. Let buyers see your standards. Let strangers see that you can identify problems and create better outcomes. Then create a simple offer. I help this person achieve this result through this mechanism. Not vague, not poetic, clear. If someone cannot understand what you do in 5 seconds, your offer is weak. And a weak offer makes you look risky. The unsupported man must reduce risk. He does not have inherited trust. He must manufacture trust through clarity and proof. After that, begin outreach. But not needy outreach. Not, can I pick your brain? Not, do you have any opportunities? Not, I am passionate and hardworking. That language smells like dependence. Send diagnosis. Say this, I noticed this problem. Here is why it matters. Here is how I would fix it. Here is a relevant proof asset. Would you like me to send a short breakdown? That is different. That is not a beggar knocking on the door. That is a man bringing value to the gate. Some will ignore you. Good. You are no worse than before. Some will reject you. Good. You are getting market feedback. Some will respond. Good. Now you have conversation. This is how doors open without fantasy. Not because someone magically noticed your hidden genius, because you created a reason. And this is the entire law. Doors open for value, proof, timing, status, and incentive. So stop waiting to be discovered. Engineer the conditions that make discovery inevitable. This is how men with no support rise. They build systems where others build excuses. They create proof where others create resentment. They publish where others hide. They make offers where others ask for favors. They form alliances only after they have something to bring. And when the world finally notices them, they do not collapse into gratitude like rescued men. They negotiate. Because they were not saved, they were built. That is the identity you must take on. Not the hidden genius, not the overlooked victim, not the man waiting for a powerful hand. The builder, the operator, the strategist. The man who understands that power does not arrive as mercy. It is constructed, piece by piece, signal by signal, proof by proof, decision by decision. And yes, some men will always have more help than you. Good. Let them have it. You do not defeat them by complaining about their advantage. You defeat them by becoming sharper because you had none. Their safety can make them soft. Your lack of safety can make you precise. Their support can make them careless. Your isolation can make you disciplined. Their access can make them dependent. Your closed doors can force you to build your own leverage. But only if you stop worshipping the door. A door is not power. The person who controls access to the door has power. So become the kind of man who creates access. Through skill, through proof, through visibility, through offers, through reputation, through systems. This is the Machiavellian turn. Do not ask reality to be kinder. Become harder to ignore. Do not ask powerful people to be generous. Become useful to their interests. Do not wait for the gatekeeper. Build something valuable enough that the gatekeeper becomes irrelevant. If you want the full operating path for this, join the Patreon collection called Succeed, with 0 support. There are more than 30 uncensored video lessons inside, built specifically for men who have no support, no network, no mentor, and no one coming to open doors. The collection gives you a clear route for building proof, leverage, positioning, and opportunity from zero. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. No one is coming to open the door for you, and that should not depress you. It should clean you. It should strip away the soft illusion that has been stealing your years. It should make your next move obvious. Build. Not someday. Not when you feel ready. Not when someone believes in you. Now. Build the skill. Build the proof. Build the signal. Build the offer. Build the reputation. Build the system. Because if your future requires rescue, your future is not yours. And if your success depends on being chosen, you will spend your life performing for people who may never look in your direction. But the man who builds systems does not wait to be chosen. He becomes difficult to deny. So let other men wait. Let them resent. Let them compare. Let them excuse. Let them decay. You will build. And when the door finally opens, you will not enter like a beggar grateful for permission. You will enter like a man whose evidence arrived first. No one is coming to open the door. Good. Now you have no one left to blame, and no one left to wait for.